Gotta rock a piss and then get my drinks and then we'll
You say rock a piss?
Yeah, I'm gonna rock a piss.
I'm gonna use that
from now on. I'm not gonna piss, I'm gonna rock.
I'm gonna rock a turd. That's the next logical conclusion, eh?
I'm gonna dent that motherfucking porcelain.
I'm gonna rock a piss.
And dent that porcelain.
Warning, this podcast contains violence, sexuality, gore, and other horrible and disturbing things. Listener discretion is advised. Also, the hosts of this venture are ignorant dipshits, so please do not take anything they say as fact. And enjoy the show.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be.
The atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand.
It is our basic human right to be fuck up.
A second plane now has crashed into the other tower of the World Trade Center.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The defendant shall be incarcerated for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Occultae Veritatis.
Well, I mean, we like to get real on this podcast, so I'm going to get real right away. Hello, I'm Ood Gallifrey with Occultae Veritatis.
I'm Sage Murray.
And in studio with us,
Richard Bigley filling in for Leon Filger.
His baby's sad.
He had to leave to take care of his potato and make sure it's healthy and grows.
And his partner.
Oh, and his partner, of course.
Yeah, I guess they're having rough times with the child, so
sounds sad.
He went to kind of relieve her of that.
Which is very responsible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
it's parenting. It's not babysitting.
It is parenting,
you know?
yeah. It's parenting.
Yeah, and
you get paid to babysit.
You don't get paid to parent.
Yeah. And, yeah, so, like I said, we're getting real on this episode. Like, I went through one of the hardest times of my life last month. Like, several things changed, a relationship ended, like, I had to deal with very, very hard emotional stuff. And one of the only things that kept me chugging was the pure rage that came from researching this episode. For anybody out there with trigger warnings, anybody that's dealt with child abuse, this is going to look like a very familiar form of child abuse. There's lots of chances in media to talk about hard child abuse and extreme child abuse, but this is more of a child abuse that many, many people experience. And we're going to talk
kind
about
of like sneaky and not super overt child abuse.
Yeah. So, yeah, this episode is probably going to make you mad if it made me mad. I mean, the anger from this episode is one of the things that kept me going through that hard part of my life, and we're going to have to dive into some fucked up poison for this fucked up episode.
So, what's your poison?
Oh god, the poison's so fucked up, you guys.
Okay, so yeah, for those of you that have been with us, once in a while I pick up some non-alcoholic drinks just because we like to not always be drinking alcohol here, because we recognize that there's listeners out there who don't partake and just like vanilla drinks, and that's totally fine. So I picked up this canned milk.
Okay, it literally says carbonated drink.
Canned milk.
It says Lotte, Milkis, Milkis. And then this one I'm holding is banana. And it says banana carbonated drink.
Yes, there is banana, strawberry, melon, and apple.
Yo, okay, there's filtered water, sugar, carbon dioxide, powdered skimmed milk, citric acid, banana flavor,
apple flavor,
soybean polysaccharide, which is another sugar, phosphoric acid, and like yellow number 5.
Ooh.
I have enzymatically modified routine.
I don't know, man.
And then it's like allergen alert, contains milk and soybean.
No.
Here, hand me whichever one. I'll drink it. Hand me the worst sounding one. I'll drink
it. I don't have the worst. I want the apple one. That one's the worst.
Here's the apple one. I think melon is probably
the worst, yeah.
Okay.
I think that strawberry is probably the safest.
Okay,
and there's banana.
I'm going to go banana.
Okay, well, I will save strawberry. Banana. I'll save strawberry for my son.
There we go. Alrighty, so I'm drinking Milkis melon flavored. So melon flavored.
Okay, I have Milkis apple flavor.
I've got Milkus banana flavor.
Hey.
Banana carbonated drink, 250 milliliters of it.
Okay, well, it just smells like an carbonated apple juice.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Smells like fake banana, as I had expected.
Okay, you know
It
what?
looks like semen.
Yeah.
Like a really liquidy semen.
Like
there.
yeah, like liquidy semen. It's like kind of white and clear.
This is like cake style semen. This is like this. this is like the fake shit they shoot out of fake dicks and like fake porn scenes and all that.
It's a lot less milk than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's fine. I was alarmed for no reason.
Yeah, like it was like solid like milk, like
if it was
homogenized
apple and milk
or something,
like
I'd be
like a thick milk.
But this is like water with a hint of like skim powdered milk and then like artificial flavors.
It literally says new feeling of soda beverage. No caffeine, no preservatives. And this is a Korean drink. And it's fine. I'm probably gonna save most of it for my kid.
It's like if you fill up your glass without rinsing out the milk first, that's pretty much the consistency and with flavoring added.
And if you want to learn more about this, you can go to company.lottechilsilashilong.co.kr/ENG, presumably for English.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's fine.
If you really want to, no caffeine, no preservatives. Like
a carbonated milk beverage.
I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 because it feels like a half-done drink. It's like this drink feels like it's still in the planning stages.
No, like it was fine. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah,
like it's not my favorite, but
yeah.
It'd probably be all right if we get some like nice, good quality vodka or something.
Yeah, I just finished.
Like
up
just
my
use
vodka.
it as like mix or something, you
I
know?
have
or like a rum and banana. Oh my god,
spiced rum and banana.
Oh, do you have any rum? Can we try that?
Maybe. Just wait.
Oh.
Does powdered milk curdle?
I don't know. Do you curdle?
I don't think
he does. Believe me, I know.
I suppose I curdle in certain contexts. If I'm picking up what that meaning is correctly.
Curdle, motherfucker. Curdle, goddamn.
Almost 5 billion videos viewed on YouTube every day. The social media juggernaut credited with launching regular people into superstardom. From Justin Bieber, whose career skyrocketed after a talent scout spotted the singer on YouTube,
Oppan Gangnam Style,
and South Korean singer Psy, his now famous music video viewed over 2 billion times. And that fame and fortune inspired the Martins, a Frederick County family, to attract as many fans as possible by creating outrageous prank videos.
The kids would watch other big-name YouTubers, and they would be like, we can do that, we're fun, we're awesome.
Their hundreds of videos show everything from smashing electronics to a fake robbery and elaborate pranks where they appear to terrify their 5 children. The Martins quickly reach 800,000 followers on YouTube.
How fast does this start happening?
We were just messing around one day, having fun, joking around, and we ended up doing the prank, and we put it on YouTube, and it blew up.
But it's this video that changes everything for the Martins. It shows their son sobbing as they scream at him for spilling ink, something they actually put there as a prank. The video goes viral. Outraged viewers immediately go on the attack, accusing Heather and Mike of exploiting their children, triggering an international firestorm and child abuse investigations.
For us, each person was a character, and we didn't step back and realize how that would look. We felt like it was unsaid in the YouTube community that things like that were fake.
It's part of a growing trend. The more shocking the content, the more people want to watch. And as Dr. Elliot King, a social media expert and professor at Loyola University, tells WJZ, the more views you get, the better your chances of making money.
And if it has the you can't believe this factor, people want to see what they can't believe. You get hits, you get paid.
What episode are we doing? I've forgotten already.
So we're doing DaddyOfive and MommyOfive. So
Right.
I'll bring you to what this is like. You know, I mean, we all grew up in the 90s. You know, you go to gore.com or you go to like fuckedupshit.com where we're able to see people being tortured, ripped apart.
Orgish.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Faces of death.
All that stuff. Now, the a lot of those, like, some people will run across those and they'll run across a video of, like, a cat being kicked or, like, a dog being abused. And they, like, most people will recoil at that. Most people will not want to do that. But there's a special type of person that wants to save that link and wants to download that video to watch it again.
See more. Yeah.
Yes. Now, imagine a group of those people come together to group witness the child abuse of 2 children in a family. And it's framed as a happy-go-lucky YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what this is. So, DaddyOfive and MommyOfive. So,
isn't it like FamilyOfive?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole bunch of different changes. So, it originally started with a YouTube channel called DaddyOfive. And there's this guy named Mike Martin. At the time, he was 36, born in 1982. He's a YouTuber. He formed this channel called DaddyOfive, and it was called DaddyOfive because he was a dad and he had 5 kids at the time.
That's too many kids.
Yeah, too many kids.
I have one.
And I have a cat and like.
Well, and you have like my family, so you got like my dogs too.
Yeah,
and also my son.
True. So yeah, he formed this YouTube channel. Now, history on Mike: he has a toxic relationship with his ex-wife Rose. When he talks about her in these videos, and by the way, for anybody under the age of 18, for the kids, I'm going to use pseudonyms, so they're not the kids' actual names.
Yeah, even though you can you can find them online, we aren't going to use them because they were under 18 when all this shit went down.
Well, even now, the oldest kid involved is still under 18.
Okay, well then yes, we'll definitely be using pseudonyms.
Yeah. So in his YouTube videos, him and his wife often talk down about their ex-wife to their audience of hundreds of thousands of people.
It's so sketchy.
Yeah. He left in 2008. This toxic relationship with his ex-wife, and he left 2 kids behind. Chester was 1 year old, and Erica was 3 years old. He came back. So in 2008, he left. He came back in 2015. So he came back 7 years later after not helping raise those kids at all. And he got custody of the kids. Now, the way he got custody of the kids is very suspect. When the mother eventually regained custody of these kids, and that's kind of a little preview of how bad it's going to get. There's going to be custody thrown around.
Oh.
Basically, her lawyer argued that the reason that custody was awarded to father was because that family judge had a history of saying that anybody who is mentally ill cannot be a fit parent.
I am mentally ill and I'm a fucking sweet parent.
Yeah, and Rose was bipolar. Rose had diagnosed bipolar, and the judge thought that was reason enough to deny her custody of her kids.
That's nonsense because Leon is bipolar and he literally just left to go help take care of his kid.
Yeah, he's responsible as fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me mad.
Yeah. And
I'm like furious right now.
Yeah, so he brought 2 kids into this relationship, this brand new relationship. So Mike brought Chester and Erica in.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, Chester was 9 and Erica was 11. So that was when they were being adopted, when all this was happening. He married somebody called Heather Martin, who formed her own YouTube channel, Mother of 5 or Mommy of 5.
Oh boy.
And she had her own companion channel. The DaddyOfive YouTube channel was mostly based around quote-unquote pranking, and we'll get deeper into what that means. Pranking
that's a whole thing.
His kids, and the MommyOfive channel was more about them pranking each other, but like there's a lot of focus on DaddyOfive, a lot of focus on Mike, but I think Heather or MommyOfive is a very active participant in this.
Yo, wait, Heather is that the stepmom?
Heather is the stepmom to Chester and Erica.
Yeah.
So how this family is formed: 2005, Mike marries Heather.
Right. Mike
brings 2 kids that he got from his ex-wife in suspect means. He brings in Chester, age 9, and Erica, age 11.
Yeah.
MommyOfive, Heather brings in 3 other kids.
Okay, from like a previous relationship.
Yeah, from a previous relationship.
Okay, so they just like blended their family.
Yeah, Mike and Heather have no kids together. They only have kids from previous relationship. And she brought in Josh, age 14, Andy, age 9, and Rob, age 12.
Okay.
So they formed a family of 5. So it was the 2 parents, Mike and Heather, and the 5 kids, Chester, Erica, Josh, Andy, and Rob.
It's kind of like the Brady Bunch.
A little bit, actually.
Jan.
Yeah. Yeah, and Heather was a professional accountant, and there's some suspect stuff behind her too, because there's stuff about her talking in videos about how she drew up like custody and divorce papers for people to sign.
What the fuck? She's an accountant. That's not her shit.
Yeah, and there's like nothing can be proven because a lot of it is deleted and a lot of it is destroyed. They're never going to admit to anything. But like, she formed those papers for people to sign, and she convinced them to sign them. Now, this DaddyOfive channel began very mundane. They started doing just like family vlogging shit, like, hey, we're going to the supermarket. Hey, we bought an apple and all that shit. It slowly
started wholesome and regular.
Oh yeah, and it started to form into what I would describe as a feature family vlog channel that featured child abuse.
Ugh. Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. Like when you told me that you were doing this episode, I watched some of their stuff and did some research, and it's yucky.
And what makes this beyond the pale is a lot of people think like, okay, he had some family vlogs and occasionally he abused his kids.
Oh, just occasionally he abused his kids.
When you go through the backlog, the focus of his YouTube channel was abuse.
Yes.
So Mike was the master.
For laughs.
Oh yeah. So Mike was the mastermind behind the YouTube channel. So Mike, he ran the social media, he ran the YouTube channel. When he was responding to comments, like messaging people on the Instagram account, doing shit on the Facebook group, all that was all him.
Yeah.
Heather had a very hands-off approach to it. Now, that doesn't mean she wasn't involved. She not only endorses, but encourages the abuse. There's moments when you watch their videos when Mike has moments of sympathy, like, "Oh, that prank was really fucked up," or like, "Oh, do you think we really went too far that time?
We didn't actually kill your brother."
Yeah, and Heather will ring in saying like, "No, that little bastard deserved it," and all that. And so she's very much, even though she's not the mastermind behind, she very much endorses and encourages it, and she almost seems to have more of a cruel streak than even Mike does.
Yeah. Kind of rides on that high.
Yeah. Now, what is this YouTube channel? So, the YouTube channel, the key words that describe it are fun, funny children, funny kids, hilarious, funny kid videos, angry kids. So you see, he's trying to frame it as like, this is a fun family vlogging channel where we can prank each other and have lots of laughs and funs.
It is not. Like, I almost started crying, and I don't cry.
Oh yeah.
It was like I watched a bunch of stuff, and it was.
Now,
it makes you feel like gross watching it.
Oh yeah. Now, there was something called the Xbox destruction prank, and I'll be going through that video slowly in the future, but that went viral as fuck.
Yeah.
And they learned that kids crying equals money.
Right.
And they kept on riding that train until they built that YouTube channel into a behemoth. This is the kind of behemoth it was. At one point, it had 266 videos, which worked out to 175 hours of content. Mm-hmm. At its highest, it had 714,000 subs and 176 million views.
Fuck.
This YouTube channel was bringing in about $1,350 a day.
That's insane.
Wow. Yeah. $1,350 a day in ad revenue. What makes this even more egregious is, as this was active and as this was going on, YouTube awarded them, when they reached 100,000 subscribers, a silver play button.
Oh, right.
Now, the requirements for a silver play button, there's no copyright infringement. Okay, he didn't copyright anything, whatever.
Nope.
Community guideline strikes, which accuse, like, things against violence and visible abuse. They were supposed to check for that. They were supposed to check that this channel followed community guidelines, and they awarded him a silver play button. And a silver play button isn't just like, hey, you reached 100,000 subs, so you get one. It's, you are an outstanding member of the YouTube community, and we want to award you with a silver play button.
Right.
It grew into this behemoth, this huge money maker.
Mm-hmm.
And they started making more and more abusive content. Content.
That's what people wanted to see, so that's what they made more of.
Yeah. And like, who the fuck was doing this channel? So when you go through the channel archives, everything's fucking deleted now. So you have to go through the Wayback Machine and the archive.org and all that to see the comments and all that shit.
Yep.
But you see comments from actual sadists.
Yes.
So there's a small amount of actual sadists that's saying like, please hit Chester harder, or please please smack the kid harder and longer. Like, I wish the whole family would team up on this kid and beat them until they're dead. Like, these people just voicing their sadistic, fucked up desires. That's one group of people.
Yep.
Another group of people were child abuse apologists. That whole, like, oh, I got hit and I turned out just fine. Like, there's a whole bunch of people in those comments, and they saw the DaddyOfive YouTube channel as like, here's a father doing it right. Hard love. That's what those kids need.
Tough love. They need to have the shit kicked out of them to become good people.
Yeah. There was also survivors of child abuse. There was a small subset of there that recognized the child abuse and constantly voiced it.
And they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? This is harmful and not cool.
And this wasn't, like, people frame this as like, oh, it's a big surprise. YouTube didn't know about it. But they were constantly reporting and talking about this guy, these child abuse survivors.
Yep.
The other 80%, so what I just described is like 20%. The other 80% is the silent majority that never comments, never likes, just observes.
Yeah, just watches. Yeah.
And their demographics are 18 to 34, 60% women, 40% men. That's all we know about them. We just know their demographics. And
they just watch the videos.
Yeah. Now,
well, that was me because I watched a bunch of videos.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and we don't know if they're silent majority, if they're watching it to observe the carnage or watch a train wreck or to like...
Or because they like get off on it or because they think it's funny and they're like, yeah, this is how you should be raising your kids in a state of constant fear.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, this channel just collected this group of people that craved and religiously watched their content.
Yep.
Now, their YouTube channel, DaddyOfive, was broken up into a few different segments. So the first,
like a gaming segment.
Yeah. So the first one was a prank. Now, prank in this thing was emotional trauma or destroying and taking things.
We definitely watch what my kid watches because he's like almost 5 now. He watches YouTube.
Yeah.
He likes those like gaming videos. He likes to watch other people play video games. So we make sure that he's watching like
not the PewDiePie or whatever.
No PewDiePie, and we make sure that it's not like too shitty.
Yeah. The challenge or the stunt is another type of video where they try and do a stunt, and the way they make this into child abuse is if you can't do the stunt or if you can't complete the challenge, you get hit, or you get hit by another kid, or you get tackled, or you get fought with, or anything like that. There's another one called Terrorize, where like there's a section of videos called Terrorize where the oldest brother, Josh, would be followed around the house with a camera by his dad. He would just trash the possessions of the other kids, and the dad would constantly be like jeering and encouraging him to do so. And the rest of the stuff is family stuff. So they do normal YouTube unboxings. They do vlogs.
Yeah.
And it's important to know that in the vlogs, Chester and Erica, the two kids that came from the previous marriage. So the two kids that came from...
The dad's marriage.
Yeah, the dad's marriage. They're still condescended to and abused even in the vlogs. Like, they're talked down to as if they're lesser members of the family.
So fucking gross.
Yeah. So every video starts out on a very even kilter, where they calmly explain what they're going to do. So if you bring up, if you want to watch one in your video, watch the invisible ink prank if you want to bring that one up. And just...
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. That one is really, like, it's, like, it's, if you're like me, it's like cringy to watch.
Yeah.
Hey guys. So, I got a prank for... I bought this here invisible ink, and I'm gonna squirt it all over his carpet and start flipping out. Because you remember before, guys, you've seen our videos, you know, he got ink all over our carpet and we actually had to pay someone to come clean it. So we're gonna make him think that he did it again, and he's gonna flip out because he really didn't do it. So we're gonna see how this goes.
And like the video starts out very kind. The mom is speaking in very soft tones, and she even like she's personable, and she even like giggles at her own jokes and all that. And she's like, "Ha, I'm gonna prank the kids. Ha ha.
It's so funny. Ha ha ha. This will be so sweet and wholesome and also funny."
Yeah. As soon as the video hits, and as soon as like the prank starts, it starts to go like just black.
Yeah.
And they start to abuse and terrorize these kids and yell at them until
they spilled invisible ink on stuff.
Yeah.
And they blamed the kids for wrecking whatever. And then they just like go the fuck off. Like they're swearing at them.
Get your fucking ass up here! What the fuck?
What did you do?
What? What the fuck? I didn't do that!
What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
What is this? I didn't do that! You tell me what you did! I swear to God, I didn't do that!
Jody!
I didn't color over your carpet! I didn't do that! I don't have anything to color with it!
Why did you do that?
You ruined the carpet! Get out of here! Mind your business! I didn't do that! Mom and Dad, I didn't do
my God! Oh my God!
Like, this could be a normal pranking video. Like,
Yeah,
you
like
put
it could be fine.
Yeah, but the fact is, the point when the kids start crying from the parents yelling and terrorizing them is just a starting point for this channel.
Yeah.
They keep on abusing and terrorizing them until the kids are literally crumpled in a corner, snot running out of their nose, crying. Like, somebody who is so much bigger and has so much more power than them is screaming at them for something that's not their fault.
And swearing at them and calling them names.
And the kids are visibly distressed and they're crying in the corner. And like, it's hard to explain because like the degree of like, hey, we're just having some fun. Like
everyone was in on the joke. Well, like, have you seen the like apologist videos of the
yeah.
Oh, here you're getting it.
I've watched a bunch of shit. Yeah, and the kids get more and more abused until they're visibly distressed, crying, begging to be left alone, like just like broken as little humans.
Yeah, like please stop saying these things to me. Like they're bawling, and like I would be too.
And then every video ends with such a switch, so it switches back to that nice happy tone. And they start to talk about like, hey, make sure to like and subscribe and make sure to visit va and make sure to sign up for va and share va. And it gives us an illusion of normalcy. Like, we didn't just watch child abuse, we just watched another YouTube channel and then like and subscribe and all that shtick.
Ooh, yeah, like it's very yucky.
Yeah. So let's introduce the kids involved. So Chester is 12 today, was 9 at the time. So this happened just a few years ago.
Just a baby.
Yep. Now something to notice about him is bruises take about 2 to 7 days to heal.
Yeah.
In the video, and they put out a video when they were active about every second day.
Right.
Almost every video you can see new bruises, cuts, and scrapes on him.
Yeah.
Like he's constantly covered in new injuries.
Well, like it could be from just like regular, like even I have like I have at least 3 bruises where I have no idea where they come from.
Oh yeah.
And my kid has bruises, but like his was kind of like alarming.
Yeah.
Like it was,
and
especially with the content of the videos.
Yeah, and I don't want to ring on alarm bells about errant bruises. Some kids roughhouse and play sports and all that and they get bruises, but matched with the context of these videos becomes very suspect.
Right.
Now, I would say Chester's receives about 70% of the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
For one reason, he gets the views.
Yeah.
He has something called oppositional defiant disorder,
which is a thing. Like
Yeah.
it's a mental health thing.
Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Grashow, a licensed psychologist. So let's talk a little bit about how to help someone diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorders. So when you have a child who's diagnosed with ODD, you need to know, first of all, that ODD is more than just typical difficulty with children. All children can be challenging and difficult at times, right? And especially teens. They can be moody, they can be argumentative, but this is not ODD. Oppositional defiant disorder is really chronic and pervasive behavior, which is characterized by defiance, hostility, and disruptive behavior, especially with adults. It's very difficult to manage. I would say ODD also comes along oftentimes with anxiety, depression, and ADHD. So when these other conditions are diagnosed and treated properly, we often see the symptoms of ODD abate or almost disappear entirely. But when they're remaining, it's very important for parents to be consistent and loving. And this is no short order in a child with ODD. It can be very challenging. So again, you want to be consistent, you want to follow through, you want your child to know what consequences are, but you also want to be supportive, loving, and not lose your temper and engage in real battles with these kids.
Yep. oppositional defiant disorder, you're easily angered, easily irritable, easily annoyed.
So like you're basically on like a hair trigger.
Yeah. And you frequently lose your temper, and you're prone to tantrums and rage.
Which makes for good views, because you all of a sudden will switch from normal to being like, in quotation marks, like crazy and super mad, which obviously gets more views because it's sensational. That's
exactly it. They would most of the time, 70% of the time, they would terrorize Chester until he started throwing a tantrum or freaking out, and
because of his mental health issues.
And that would get the views. They learned that Chester crying and freaking out equals money, and
ooh, that makes me so mad. Like I'm like fuming right now. I'm so mad.
Oh yeah. Oppositional defiant disorder is defined. Like, I'll tell you how it's defined, but people that suffer from it need a structured, calm, attentive, and understanding environment to thrive.
Yes.
None of which he received.
No, they exploited his mental health issue for views and for money.
It gets so fucked. I've watched so many videos this week. Now, what's also important to remember is Chester is from Mike's ex-wife, one of her kids. And they're literally redheaded stepkids. Like that's the stereotype, but they're literally the redheaded stepkids.
Yeah, they were kind of like whatever.
Yeah, the other kid was Erica. Now Erica, she was 14. She's 14 today, 11 at the time. She's very quiet. She's shy. She likes coloring and cartoons and animals. Like most of the videos, when they go to terrorize her, she's watching some cartoon on her iPad, or she's coloring a book, or she's like talking to her friend on the phone. She's very easily stimulated. Like she likes creative stuff.
Yes, she's like a sweet regular child.
She's also a bit more kind-hearted than Chester. Now, kids who are involved in abusive situations will often join in on the abuse when it's not focused on them, and that's
right, because it deflects away from abusing them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Chester would join in a lot of the times. A lot of the times, Emma wouldn't join in. She wouldn't want to join in to harm her brother. So she's even more kind-hearted than Chester is. Mm-hmm. I would say she receives about 20% of the remaining abuse.
Yeah.
And I'll go through the abuse she receives. The next three, I would say they receive maybe 5% of the abuse each. And the big thing between them is pranks on Josh, Andy, and Rob, the three kids from Heather's last marriage.
Right.
Their pranks last 1 to 5 minutes. So they do the prank, they give up the reveal, it's all over very quickly. You have your little ha-ha and all that, and it's done. It got very dark and much longer when it involved Erica or Chester. Their pranks lasted 20 to 40 minutes.
Yep.
And it was just torture the whole time.
So uncomfortable to watch.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like as a parent, but like as a human.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea of how one-sided it is, you seem like one of those parents, like, do you have like some kind of like to-do sheet or flip chart that you use to keep track of chores or anything like that?
Yep.
On this, they had one of those too. The only names that were on it were Chester and Erica.
Oof.
Josh, Andy, and Rob didn't have any chores. They didn't have any rules. The only people on that chart were Chester and Erica. The other three kids, Josh, 17 years old today, 14 then. He was rewarded with praise for abusing his siblings.
Yeah, well, that's what you're going to do, right? If you're getting positive feedback from doing that shit, like that's what you're going to keep doing.
And the rules, like, blatantly in the videos, it's shown that there's a double standard when it comes to rules. If he hits one of the other kids, he doesn't get in trouble. If one of the kids hits him, they get in trouble.
Yep.
And of course, he's sometimes abused himself. He's an abuse victim as well as an abuser, which is so often the case.
Yeah. Well, it's a complicated situation.
Yeah. Rob. So he was 15 years old today. He was 12 back then. He takes after Josh. So there's kind of a pecking order. When Josh isn't abusing the other kids, Rob is abusing the other kids. And when Rob isn't abusing the other kids, Andy is. Andy is the youngest kid besides Chester, but he's from the wife's marriage.
Right. And they seem to be kind of like on the higher end of the hierarchy.
Yeah, and something that's revealing is, like, Andy is the youngest out of the 3 kids that eventually remain after all the aftermath.
Right.
And when you watch the videos, it's very easy to see that abuse is shifting now that they no longer had Chester and Erica to abuse.
Yeah. Didn't they get like taken away from the family?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, I'm sure that you'll get into that.
Oh yeah, I've already laid foreshadowing, but Andy becomes the focus of the abuse after that because he's the youngest and most vulnerable member. So
and like the most meek and agreeable.
Yep. Yeah. So the pecking order goes Josh, Ryan, Andy, Erica, Chester, and it worked very much like a pecking order. Like people would get in trouble for hitting or abusing those above them in the pecking order, but they wouldn't get in trouble for abusing people below them.
Yep.
And Chester was the focus of all this. So, of course, this is going to get very triggering. These parents figure out all kinds of fucked up shit to mess with these kids' heads. So
just manipulative and gross.
Yeah, so trigger warning here. I'm going to list the abuse that happened. Mm-hmm. What's important to know is, especially with child abuse, you form a self-blaming mindset.
Right.
So victims of abuse, especially child victims of abuse, often feel that if they worked harder, if they tried harder, if they did better, the abuse would stop.
Yeah. If I wasn't like this wouldn't happen to me.
Yeah. And so they rationalize when they get hurt, when they get abused, they take responsibility because they think, well, I must have failed somehow, therefore I deserve the punishment.
Right.
And especially with children, when their only reference to the world, maybe their parents or maybe some of their friends, it's very easy for them to become complacent and accept abuse into adulthood. Yeah. And they're more likely to abuse in adulthood because it normalizes it so heavily. So just something to note. So this is the physical abuse against these kids. So 266 videos over 1.5 years, a video every second day. All these kids had new injuries. Chester had the most injuries, but all of them had new injuries every video. Mm-hmm. They were slammed against the floor and wall. Chester in particular in a video was pushed into a wooden dresser. When the video cuts and when it comes back, his pillow is full of blood because he's been pushing his face against it. So he bloodied his nose or he cut his lip or something like that. Erica was hit with a belt several times.
Fuck.
She had her nail ripped off when she was forced to fight her brother.
Good Lord.
There was a slap fight. Now, remember those challenges I was talking about?
Yep.
You know that flip cup challenge where you take a cup and you see if you can...
Oh, yeah, and see if you can get it to land.
Yeah, I just sit on the table. Yeah.
You failed.
I failed. And if I was in that video, that means I would get slapped. So in order to make it seem like... Because a dad slapping a kid, that's not good. That's not good YouTube. Kids slapping other kids, that's good YouTube.
That's fun.
So he just got the older brother to slap around the younger kids when they failed at flipping and shit.
Okay, so you guys explain what you're gonna do.
So I don't even know what we're doing.
Okay, all right, I'll say it. We're gonna play bottle flip slap. Okay, that's what we're gonna call it. Now you gotta flip the bottle and land it. Now, if it lands, you're safe. Now, if it don't land, the other person gets to slap you in the face.
Wait, what? She's not gonna quit if I just go.
And you know you don't hit girls.
Yeah,
but she's your sister. She don't count.
What the heck?
Boys don't hit girls. Just give her a little tap. Oh my God!
You don't hit girls, you little law breaker.
I just failed also.
Yeah, she was pushed onto cement. There's lots of from the dad in little bursts of anger or moments of weakness. You can see the dad kind of slapping the back of heads or slamming his hand onto arms and all that.
Yeah, he gets visibly frustrated and exhibits that inappropriately.
Yeah, and all of them receive some form of biting, scratching, shoving, smacks, punches, and all of them have the cower and flinch reflex, which means if a hand is raised against them or if a door is quickly opened, they have a very quick cower reflex. And everybody...
oh, fuck, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. And everybody on Earth has a cower reflex, but most people's are very subtle. There's just a little twitch. With people that are victims of abuse, their cower will go much bigger. And instead of cowering with just like a little twitch that moves an inch, their cower will go into hands over the head, waiting for something to happen.
You're like full on like protecting your head mode.
Yeah. And a popular thing on their channel, which is physical abuse, is there was all the fight combos. So they found a way to make every kid fight each other. And it was a popular form of every video that there'd be some kind of kid dog fight versus each other.
What do they have on Arrested Development? Boy fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's literally the thing of satire.
Yeah.
But it's real and disgusting.
And the only time they really break up these fights is when they're going to like break a window or push over a lamp or something. The kids,
right, like how dare they destroy our property?
Yeah, like you see these kids punching each other and like brutalizing each other. And the only time like the mom or the dad step in is like, hey, don't break my fucking lamp and all that.
Don't break my Hummel figure.
Now, physical abuse is one form of abuse, and it's brutal. It can be dealt with in one way, but there are several forms of abuse happening at the same time. Destruction,
that are a little bit more innocuous.
Yeah, destruction of property. So this is a big part of it. Now, a good point that a YouTube channel called Nerd City brought up. If you were to raise somebody like in a laboratory environment where you wanted them to not care about their stuff and not care about their environment and like not care if their room was clean or not, you would just take anything that meant anything to them at all and destroy it as soon as they started to care for it.
Yeah.
And basically they
nip that in the bud.
Yeah, and that's basically what they did. Now Chester, because he has this disorder and because he reacts so big and it makes the big bucks, they often destroy his personal affects. Like
so they could get that over the top reaction.
And like they destroy stuff like Xboxes, tablets, DSs, which is expensive.
That's not cheap.
Not cheap. They destroy like toys and stuff like that. That's not the worst part. They destroy possessions you can buy from Walmart, which still hurts. It's still abusive. It's still horrible.
100%.
Because these kids gain a lot of comfort from their video games, and they gain a lot of escape. And like,
it's an escape channel.
Yeah, when it gets fucked up is when they start to destroy stuff that really means a lot to him. He had a collection of letters and Valentine cards that he got from his birth mother. In an episode, they decided just to tear them up in front of his face and watch him cry as like love letters, Valentine letters, and like things from his birth mother were just torn in front of his face.
That mean a lot to him, like on a visceral emotional level.
Yep.
Not just like, yeah, I love my Xbox.
There was he has some learning disabilities in school as well. Like this is a troubled kid, like a special needs kid, and he got a lot of praise over a couple projects he involved in. He built a cool little wooden race car. Now, I was in Cubs and Scouts, and I loved building. One of the events was like a little like race car run where you'd put your car at the end of a track and it'd go downhill, and you see which car went further. And
that's a whole thing. That's a thing to be proud of.
Cub cars or whatever, like Scouts.
My nephew does like soapbox cars, like with this Cubs, and like it's a whole thing.
And he was really proud of it, and he got like praise in class for doing it, and he put it in a prominent place of his room because he wanted to look at it because he was proud of it. I rocked this shit.
Fuck yeah.
They tore the wheels off and destroyed it.
And because he would react so big.
Yeah.
They videoed it and probably made a bunch of money off of it.
So I don't know. Like I'm just wondering, in terms of like nature versus nurture, or I guess nurture versus or environment versus biology or whatever.
Yeah.
Is growing like I mean I'm sure this was his environment before YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like I'm trying to think. Well, did he maybe develop these issues?
Yeah,
as a part of that environment, as opposed to, this is he's developed the issue because that's his coping or reaction or mechanism to deal with this.
He feels like he needs to react so big to get his parents to stop destroying
to
the things.
Off, and that's why he's got this, or maybe that was just his biology and he was just predetermined to have this and he's just been tossed in a shitty environment.
Yeah, like I don't know, because like it's a whole thing. Like I grew up in a great environment and I was literally diagnosed with ADHD at the ripe old age of 31, and I'm recently 32.
And I think
that was definitely like a nature thing, not a nurture thing.
Mm-hmm. I think his environment definitely exacerbated his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's supposed to have a structural, calm, attentive, understanding environment in order to thrive, and he had none of those things. And your point is very astute, because he started to, like, later on when we get down the story, he's going to start to exhibit like signs of self-harm and signs of signs of aberrant behavior that comes from PTSD and trauma.
Yeah, well, he probably experienced trauma at having like his most proud, amazing accomplishments be fucking destroyed on video by his parents, people that he's supposed to be able to trust, literally for views.
You're doing everything enough. And he doesn't even care. He doesn't even care. It's true. He doesn't care about me. I will keep every life junk I have. It's not junk. It's stuff for my friends and my family that I actually care about, unlike you!
Oh, he also had a folded pinwheel. Now, it was like a origami pinwheel that was very hard to fold, and he was very proud of that, ripped to shreds.
Oh my God.
Anything that he
worked hard at and was proud of, they destroyed.
Yeah, and
because of his reaction.
Yep, and we move on to Erica now. Of course, the other three boys, they don't have their stuff destroyed very often. They still do once in a while, but not near as much as Erica and Chester.
But like, how shitty is that? Like, they still had their shit wrecked, but not quite as much.
Yeah, right?
You know? That's how we measure it.
Isn't it weird weighing this shit?
I can't even imagine, like, literally, like, standing in front of my kid and, like, ripping apart something that he's made.
Yeah. Now,
like, and videotaping it. Like, I can't imagine it. It makes me feel, like, it's sick thinking about it.
Now, Erica, very kind-hearted, very meek, very happy-go-lucky. She just wants to do her own shit. She wants to watch My Little Pony and fucking draw in her room, and that's what she wants to do.
Let her be.
They come into, so while there's several videos when she's drawing, like she also often has a setup where she has her iPad going watching cartoons and she's drawing pictures.
Yeah.
And
like I do.
And they'll charge into her room with a water gun and they'll destroy her drawing. They'll destroy her tablet with the water.
Stop! Not my tablet and paper! Freaking idiot! Oh my God. I hate you. I'm trying to draw.
Are you serious?
I'm trying to draw a freaking picture and this guy says ruin it.
They'll throw eggs and food at her. Something
like the parents will do this.
Yeah, so something that kind of falls into like the parents also have a degree of like very structured gender roles, like the man of the house and the woman of the house, and this is your job. And all. Something else they get Erica to do is whenever somebody's room gets fucking trashed, they get Erica to clean it up.
Oh my God!
And sometimes when she's done cleaning it up, just for laughs, they'll trash it again. Now
oh my God.
Her passion is art. She likes drawing. She likes painting. So there's frequent videos of them just tearing up her shit and all that. And it's a sign, and like all this destroying of stuff. So like electronics, possessions, like love letters, nothing.
Creative endeavors,
things you're proud of. Everything is destroyed, and there's
laughs on YouTube.
Yeah, and there's a sign of financial abuse here, because you see in a lot of videos the dad saying something along the lines of, "You have to forgive me for me to replace your things." Now he never outright says that, but he heavily implies it, and he waits until the child forgives him. So he'll go in, he'll destroy his room, he'll destroy his possessions, and say, "Hey, if you forgive me, I'll buy you a new Xbox."
Yeah, it's all forgiven if you just completely like brush off this terrible thing that just happened. Like I'll get you a new one, no big deal.
They're getting what, $1,300 a day? You said
they make a shitload of money.
Yep, it's a cash cow, and they learn that triggering Chester's mental health issues makes money, so they just keep on doing it.
It's such a big reaction.
Yeah, emotional abuse. So they
shit.
They participate.
I'm emotionally abused.
Right
now.
they participate in a shitload of gaslighting. So something they'll do is like they'll get the older kid to like hit one of the younger ones, and then the dad will tell the younger kid, "You just hit them." Like, what are you talking about? You just hit them. And they'll keep on insisting until you can see the wheels in this little kid's head turning. Like,
it's like, maybe I did hit that kid.
Like, he's so, like, these kids are so fucked and so
mad
that, like, and they crumple in the corner and start crying because they're being told something they didn't do, but they're being insisted they do it.
Yeah.
When the older kids come in to terrorize the younger kids, so when the older kids come in to terrorize Chester and Erica, they often frame it as if it's those kids' fault. Like, if one of the older kids picks up the younger kid's Xbox and smashes it on the ground, it would be framed in a video as, "Oh, you shouldn't have put your Xbox there," because it was obvious he was going to go there and toss it and all that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of gaslighting, and like if a room just got trashed, like they would insist that you just messed up your room, so you have to clean it up now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like the older kid would hit the younger kid like a dozen times, and if the younger kid like even pushed back, they would say,
like, oh no, I need to hit you back now because you were hitting me.
Yeah, exactly. They also play lots of sadistic, fucked up head games. So there's often a moment in every video when a kid is cowering in a corner crying, just like hysterical, just like beyond the pale upset. And at that point, when the kid is at their weakest moment, the dad will go right up to them and say, "Hey, say I'm the best dad ever."
Say you're sorry.
I'm sorry.
Say I'm not a jerk.
You're not a jerk.
Best dad ever.
Best dad ever.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I am.
Look at me. Look at me. Say, I'm the best dad ever.
You're the best dad ever.
I know, but you still can't have your games. You don't have to try to flatter me. You don't get games back just because you said that.
I have to flatter you?
No, you flattered me by saying I'm the best dad ever. You still don't get to have your games. You want to play your Xbox?
Yes.
Smile. I want to see you smile. No, look at me and smile. I'm going to count to 3. 1.
Go!
2. No, that's not a smile. No games. No games.
Oh, fuck.
And he'll make the kids repeat it over and over again. Say I'm the best dad ever. Tell me that you love me. Tell me that you love me. Say I'm the best dad ever.
This episode needs a very big trigger warning.
Oh, yeah.
I am very triggered.
Oh yeah, and the dad will force them to smile or laugh when they're crying. He'll make them grovel for their possessions. So he'll take something away from them, and he'll make the kids like compliment him in order to get it back.
Fuck.
And a frequent tick of Mike's is when the kids start crying hysterically. So when they get to that point of crying where not even audible sounds are being made, just gasps between like mucus and all that, just like broken down, he'll start laughing hysterically at that. He thinks it's funny. The bait and switch is another one. So he'll convince the kids to let their guard down. So sometimes in one video, Erica locks herself in her room because she's been terrorized too much. She doesn't want to deal with it. She doesn't want
too much.
And her dad leans against the door and like, hey, listen, Erica, I'm really sorry. Like,
I really love you.
And
you're a really sweet girl.
As soon as she opens the door, he gets one of the older kids to splash her in the face with water. The other kid opens the door, and then they trash her room again.
Haha, motherfucker! I need to go check on my kid because. Yeah. BRB, keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So, do you have any information about how the father grew up, or where he's from, or what? Because I can't imagine any parent wanting. I mean, I don't have any children of my own.
Yeah.
But it would just. I don't know. It seems like there's something fundamentally flawed with him as well, and something must have.
He doesn't even seem to recognize his own wrongdoing.
Exactly. And I mean, I hate to like blame, YouTube celebrity and internet celebrity or whatever, but it's still like, I couldn't justify that for internet celebrity, like there's got to be something more fucked up going on below the surface with them,
And capitalism is a very fickle thing. Like it can make... As long as you get attention, as long as you get people buying some kind of product, even if that product is you abusing your kids, you can get rich and famous off of it. Alrighty. So something that the mother does. Now, the dad is very adept at most of the other forms of emotional abuse, but the type of emotional abuse the mother is like really good at is the hurtful words. she seems to lay stuff down and say stuff like point blank and say stuff like off the cuff that it would
kind of like swish by your consciousness.
Oh yeah, it would devastate me as an adult. And she's saying it to like little kids who are like at their weakest moments. Like there's a video of a kid crying in a bathtub and he's saying like, oh, nobody loves me, nobody likes me, all you guys is treat me bad. And she's like, yeah, that's right, I don't really like you.
Oh my God.
You're kind of annoying. She straight up says to the kids, like, I don't like you. Nobody cares about you. The world doesn't revolve around you. Like, you're stupid. You're useless. Like, all that stuff. The mom is the king of these videos of chiming in with those hurtful words when the kid is just cowering in the corner. Abandonment is another one. They often use abandonment and, like, stuff like that in order to trigger the kids. So there's lots of videos of them purposely losing one of the kids in public.
What?
And them from a distance, like spying on the kid, watching them freak out as they're like panicking, looking for their mom or dad. And they think it's funny as hell. And they also, another type is they trap them. And I say they trap them emotionally because they make it so no matter what choice they make, no matter what they say, it's the wrong thing to say and the wrong choice to make.
Oh my God.
So they just trap them in this thing where nothing they do is right, and they just constantly get terrorized for new wrong things that arrive. Yeah.
That is very abusive.
So I'm not cherry picking these videos. Like, these are videos that became famous, but all the videos on their channel nearly have moments of abuse in them and like have trauma within them. Like, and this is just the stuff they released on their YouTube channel. What's happening outside the channel? Okay, so the invisible ink prank. So the mom starts sweet, giggly. She starts to laugh at her own jokes. She mispronounces something at one point and laughs at herself. She seems very sweet and personable. She goes upstairs. She squirts this disappearing ink onto a carpet. The joke is the ink's going to disappear after 10 minutes and all that, so it's no big deal. The mom starts to scream at the top of her lungs, like until her voice breaks. Like, I'm not sure if you guys had parents that screamed, but when you hear the parents scream, that like guttural, like voice-breaking scream, when you like,
it like triggers your lizard brain.
Oh yeah.
Like even just watching, like I watched that video and it like. Yeah, like you feel that like centuries past like fear.
It scares me watching, sitting in my living room, and I'm not a 70-pound 9-year-old kid, you know. So this is a prank on Chester and Alex at the room. At the time, they were sharing a room. The room is covered in dark blue ink. It was sprayed all over one kid's Yu-Gi-Oh cards, all over the carpet. And it's going to disappear in 10 minutes. But the abuse comes in is when both these parents at the same time start screaming, and they individually like corner these kids in separate corners and scream at them about like, how did you do this? Well, you fucked up the carpet. Like, you're going to be in so much trouble and all that.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How could you fucking wreck all your shit like this?
Yeah. And like I said, like a prank on the other kids lasts a couple minutes. They scream at them and they insist that they did it, with both the kids pleading that it wasn't them. Well, we didn't do it. We swear.
Because it wasn't them.
Yeah, and they continues for 20 minutes.
Like, it's very upsetting.
Like, if you think I'm exaggerating, sit through those 20 minutes of those kids being yelled at and think about, would you want to be yelled at as an adult in any context like that?
No.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah. Eventually, at the end, they say it's a prank. Both kids are obviously hurt. They have tears in their eyes.
It's just funny. We just yelled at you for no reason. It's funny. Let's put it on YouTube.
And to top it off, they go up to Chester because, of course, they could trigger Chester one more time. A little more views, a little more abuse. It's because it's a fun, happy YouTube channel. They force him to do the outro when he's obviously upset and doesn't want to be on video anymore. Yeah. So they get him to do the whole, like, hey, like and subscribe and all that. Another video, Erica Goes Psycho. And of course, I changed Erica from them up.
Yeah.
So basically, through the course of a 44-minute video, her older brothers go into her room and take all of her, all of her most precious things. And she's on the top floor at the time, so they threw it over the stair balcony. And they didn't care if it broke or if it torn apart. And when she ran downstairs to get her stuff, they trashed her room. And then when she brought her stuff back up, they threw it over the stairs. And when she went down to get it, they trashed her room again. And over and over again for 40 minutes. They terrorize her. She also has food thrown at them. She's interrogated. She's thrown down. She's pushed. She's hit. She's scratched by her 3 older brothers, with her dad laughing in the background, encouraging it all. Yep. At one point, she breaks down in a corner, and this is after she's already been crying for 20 minutes, and she says, "I want to kill myself." The dad laughs in her face. And the only thing he says about that is like, "You boys broke her brain. She wants to kill herself now. Ha 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 ha."
It's so funny.
Yeah. Xbox freak out. So often the dad, Mike, he forms these situations where he can abuse the kids. So he has to come up with like a reasonable reason he has to quote unquote discipline the kids. Because a lot of these quote unquote pranks are formed in the realm of the kid has misbehaved, so I have to quote unquote discipline them with a prank. So he manufactures that in this video. So he calls Chester over. He does the thing where Chester's in his room doing whatever. He calls him over. When he arrives in the living room, he doesn't say a fucking thing to him. And of course, Chester's like, okay. And then walks back to his room. When he walks back to his room, that's him being bad.
Yeah.
So he didn't fall.
How dare he read the mind of his father that he was in trouble?
Yeah, and the kid is literally standing there for 30 seconds saying like, "Hey, do you need anything? Why'd you call me?" Mm-hmm. "All right, I'm going to go back to my room now."
Okay, bye.
Yeah, and then he goes, and the dad charges in and says that, "Okay, you've misbehaved because you walked away from me in the middle of a conversation," which he wasn't even saying anything.
No.
And he unplugs his Xbox. He unplugs his Xbox and he terrorizes and pushes him around a bit and throws the blanket on him and screams at him. And then at one point, Chester calls his dad a jerk.
How dare he?
Yeah, with tears in his eyes, his dad then goes up to his face and he plays those head games. So his dad makes him say that, "Tell me I'm not a jerk. You're not a jerk. Tell me I'm the best dad ever. You're the best dad ever." And he plays it as if like, "Hey, if you're convincing enough, I'll give back your Xbox."
Oh my god.
Yeah. At that point, after enough prodding, Chester's kind of just like has his hands over his ears. He's going la 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 la. He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to listen to the gaslighting bullshit anymore. So he just puts his hands over.
He's overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah. Camera turns off. Camera turns back on. Chester's now in the corner, crying in a fetal position. His dad kicks him, and the kid like cowers and flinches and like pushes the foot away like he's scared of the foot. So it's kind of indicative that maybe he was abused like just before that camera turned back on, because he's now like much more panicked, much more in a fetal position, and he's freaking out just by being poked with a toe. Mm-hmm. The dad continues to kind of interrogate him. At one point, Chester tries to hide outside to get away from his dad. He tries to hide in the bathroom, but the dad gets into the bathroom. The dad gets outside and just chases him around. He plays keep away with the Xbox. Every time he gets close with the Xbox, he just like pushes his kid on the floor, or, like smacks his kid or something like that. He then gives his Xbox to one of his siblings, and he tells Chester, "Hey, if you don't get to the Xbox nice and quick, your sibling's gonna delete all your game files." And of course, the kid charges in, and he's a little 70-pound, like 9-year-old kid, so he slams himself
with mental health issues.
Yeah, so he slams himself against that door, trying to break it down because he thinks his sibling is destroying his Xbox and all of his games, and he just ends up exhausting and hurting himself. Now this happens 3 times over. The kid beats the door and slams the door until his shoulder hurts and he's exhausted, and he walks away crying. And then his dad said, "Oh, the door's open again. You can get it." And he tries to get him back in to go at the door again. The video ends with him just in front of the door, crumpled, like crying. Now, that was part 1 of 18 of different destroy Chester's Things pranks. Mm-hmm. So that was one video of a whole bunch of videos where the same thing happens to different possessions of his.
Like, that's uncautionable.
Yeah. Chester bad in school. This is where the self-harm shit comes up. Wait till you fucking hear. Okay, I know.
Let me pee first.
Okay.
I'm already very upset, but I gotta pee.
Yeah. There's people on the Discord. By the way, if you're not a part of our Patreon, we have a Discord up and going now. I was talking to some people on the Discord about how like this episode is the one episode that made me really angry because I'm a child abuse survivor, so like some of the shit hits really home for me, and the attitude of this father, of this kid bringing up legitimate problems to him, and like the non-caring, flippant nature that the father puts out when this kid is like pouring his heart out about his problems is just tragic. I'll wait for Sage though.
No, it's. I mean, especially having survived through that kind of shit yourself, you know, and you're just like, you know, he's talking about how father did that. I'm like, yeah, my fucking asshole dad did that too.
Yeah.
You know? And you're just kind of like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, and that's why I kind of left that little disclaimer in the front, because this is a much more familiar kind of child abuse. This is something that I think a lot of people have lived through.
And there wasn't even like fucking YouTube or video cameras. It was I'd be sitting there minding my business. He'd like slap me on the back of my head, and I'm like, well, what the fuck, you know? And he'd be like, well, for next time. And I'm like,
for next? Oh,
was that really necessary?
Holy shit! Like he just had a he just had a burst of angry energy and decided to take it out on like the most defenseless thing he could find.
Oh fuck! And like it was always so fucked up because it was like, I was always a shit, and like anything my sister did was fucking gold, and could not be any. And it's like, you know, and then my sister would take that shit out on me too, hey. And then it's like, and I'd retaliate, and then guess what? Well, I'd be in shit for same fucking thing, you know.
Man, it's haunting when it seems so familiar, eh?
Oh, it's just.
And what puts this past the veil is the fact that like 714,000 people, like how many 176 million views. So every person in Canada, I did the math, every person in Canada would have to watch 5 videos each in order to get the amount of views their YouTube channel had.
It's insane.
Yeah. So Chester bad in school. So Chester comes home from school with a note. The note describes that he scratched his arm until it bled, like a classic sign of self-harming, scratching until you bleed.
I have done that.
He also didn't finish assignments in class.
How dare he?
Okay. So Minnie Sage Murray comes home from school, has a note that they are self-harming and they didn't finish assignments in school. How would you react?
Well, I think I would be like, what's going on? How can I support you?
Yeah.
How can I help? Like, this is obviously an issue. And I'm here to help you however you need.
So you wouldn't yell at the top of your lungs at the kid, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with your head? So the kid comes home with a note saying that he self-harmed, and the kid said, what the fuck's wrong with you? What's wrong with your fucking head? And all
oh my God.
Chester then starts to explain that he can't pay attention to class. Like he needs he starts to list like specific needs. Like I was trained to, when I was in the Canadian Forces, I was in an instructor role, and I taught high school age kids, and I learned all about learning disorders and how to accommodate them, and like signs and stuff. And like things you can do is, if somebody has trouble reading, you can get like a test dictated to them. If they're distracted by a bunch of stuff, you can give them their own private space to do their work and like a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
And these are all reasonable things that Chester...
Reasonable accommodations that they give you in university when you're an adult.
Yeah, like...
Why not when you're a kid?
And this wasn't in 1980 when those things were the thing. This was in 2017 when those things are...
Were definitely a thing.
Yeah. So Chester explains he can't pay attention to class. He needs his own area to do work alone. He can't pay attention when other kids are talking to him. He needs more time to do assignments.
That all sounds very reasonable.
Yeah. The dad responds, the world doesn't give a damn about you. The classroom is not going to revolve around you. The classroom isn't going to change because you can't pay attention. The world doesn't work like that.
Oh, fuck.
And I say it calmly, but this is all yelled at the kid's face while he's crying.
Chose not to. Yeah, because everybody's talking to you. The whole classroom is not going to revolve around you and you being focused. The whole classroom does not do what works for. The world does not do like that. The world don't work that way. Oh, yeah. Are you walking away from me when I'm talking to you?
So for self-harming, he is punished by having his TV and toys and possessions taken away.
Yes, let's punish someone for literally crying out that they need help.
Yeah. And it's important to note that victims of abuse, especially those abuse that rises to the level of forming PTSD, often self-harm. That's a common behavior for victims of abuse.
Yeah.
He punishes him. So the last 20 minutes of the video is the kid hauling his stuff out of his room while the dad berates and yells at him for 20 minutes and shames him. And he constantly repeats how fucked up he is in the head, how fucked up he must be for doing the things he did.
How weak.
And how weak he is, tells him how little the world cares of him, makes fun of him. At one point, he calls him he makes fun of his appearance, makes fun of his hair, saying that there's a hole in his jeans, so he looks like a homeless little tramp and all that.
Fuck.
Yeah. And again, the end of the video, Chester is crying and cowering in a corner. One of the most, it's hard to say, this is where it gets fucked up every time, but, this is one of the most egregious pranks. So, Chester and Erica are already adopted into another family. They're already kids who might feel unstable about their place because they've been taken from one family to another, and they're in the middle of custody agreements. They might already have insecurity surrounding that.
They have a dad, and then their birth mom, and then their stepmom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So of course they have to press into that because if you can get Chester to freak out, that's good for money. Happy family views. Whoa. The prank that came up with Chester gets put up for adoption.
I saw that and I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Chester is sat down and is told he's being put up for adoption for quote-unquote being annoying.
What the fuck?
Of course, Chester, he's been going through this stuff for fucking years now. So he calls his bluff, don't do this to me for one of your videos. Please don't, and all that.
Oh my god, that is heartbreaking.
And, of course, Chester calls his bluff because he's like, you're not going to really do this to me, are you? And Mike has to call his bluff again, and he starts packing his stuff.
Oh my god.
He goes into his room and he starts taking stuff and putting it into a bag, and when Chester tries to grab his stuff to keep it, because he doesn't want to leave, he's starting to think this is actually going to happen. You're actually going to put me on the street. He starts to struggle, please don't pack my stuff and all that.
Yeah, please don't take it out of my room.
This is the video where Chester is pushed into a bed frame and his lip and nose are bloody at the end of it. He's gaslit by the family. So in order to make the funny prank happen, they have to provide a structure, a storyline. So they tell him that he is violent, messy, unwanted, annoying, unloved, unliked within the family. So they keep on berating him about all these fake, but they don't sound fake at all. They sound like you're actually yelling at him for real problems, stuff about himself. They tell him he's violent, messy, all that stuff. They just yelled at him.
Well, you hear shit like that enough and you start to believe it.
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here almost crying and snuggling my tiny dog.
Yeah.
This is a bad episode.
And again,
good.
And again, the mother isn't the mastermind, but she's definitely a participator because the dad is packing the stuff.
She's definitely enthusiastic.
And all these hurtful things that are being said, it's mostly the mother saying them. He at one point when he's starting to be forced to leave the house, he crawls under his bed and grabs the bed frame.
Fair enough.
When they pull him out, he grabs a piece of the bed frame with him to try and get it, and it tears off. And the mom gets really, really mad about that because,
how dare you wreck this fucking bed?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you into an emotional broken human, but don't fucking mess with my property and all that.
Oh my god.
After all this has happened, so this goes on for 28 minutes. Him being berated, his stuff being packed, his stuff
and
being...
that's unedited.
Unedited.
I'm sorry. That is edited. It's probably a lot longer unedited.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Exactly. At the end of this, of course, fucked up head games again. The kid is crying. The kid feels betrayed. You just pressed on one of the deepest insecurities I have. And you convinced me that I'm a horrible little cretin that doesn't deserve to live here. The dad forces him to cuddle and hug him.
Oh my god!
When he doesn't want to.
Oh my god, that's so abusive.
You know what though? That video was super viral. It's one of the biggest videos on their channel. So guess what? They did it 4 more times.
Oh my god!
Every couple months they would do this prank again. And it would get worse every time because they would have to outdo themselves in order to convince Chester that it's actually happening to get that reaction out of him. Adopted kids already fear abandonment.
Right.
So they're sensitive to it. So
my kid's yelling at me. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. 2 more pages.
Jeez, it just gets worse.
Oh, it's
worse and worse.
And like I thought this is when I started researching, like, is this going to be enough for an episode? Like, it might come off like a little milk toast, but fuck, it got dark. Fuck.
Oh, it's yeah.
I'm gonna go home and watch. I'm gonna go home and watch some Disney. I think. Smoke some weed, watch some Disney.
Tara wants me to go to her with for a birthday party at Divas, so I think we'll do that.
Oh boy, Divas is all right. Of all the bars in town, Divas is pretty all right.
I haven't been there for years, so I don't know what it's like now. I mean, I enjoyed it whenever I was there years ago, but fucking everything changes. So
the only thing I don't every song they play is a remix, and it's not necessarily even like a good remix. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Like, oh, I love this song. Oh, it's getting to the good part. Oh, this is a completely different song now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so in part 4, so Chester gets put up for adoption. Part 4. At one point, so after this has happened over and over again, at one point, he is trapped himself in the bathroom. He doesn't want to be fucked with anymore. He locked himself in the bathroom, like, leave me the fuck alone. Don't mess with my stuff. Don't mess with me. I want to be left in the alone bathroom. The dad is still, like, knocking and, like, terrorizing him and all that. And
oh my God.
At one point, the kid is just, like, screaming at the top of the lungs, like, why do you do this to me? Like, why do you treat me so bad? Like, if you were real parents that love me, you wouldn't do this. Like, nobody loves me. Nobody likes me. And the mom chimes in with this. I don't like you because you're bad.
Oh my God.
I love you, but I don't like you.
Oh my God! Here and that psycho kid talk right there.
My freaking family.
You don't care about us. If you did, you wouldn't be talking the way you are.
I don't care about my family. You guys don't care about me. That's the problem.
We do care about you.
Shut up.
If I didn't care for
get
about
out
you,
of my life, then you don't like me. Get out.
You don't act like you belong here.
I'm staying with my family forever. I'm not going anywhere.
You don't act like you belong here.
So leave me alone.
are you gonna stay in the tub?
Stay here forever.
Are you gonna stay in the tub? Are you really gonna stay in there?
You won't care about me. You won't love me. You won't like me. So just go. Why are you still here? Just go.
I do like you. I gotta get you help.
I don't like you because you're bad.
Exactly.
I love you, but I don't like you.
Yeah, and like, this is a kid that's already hysterically crying.
A kid that's already very traumatized.
Yeah, so...
And already feels worthless.
Yeah, so there's a false... So, I have it labeled as exposed, but I'll say it's only exposed to the wider world, because this shit had been talked about over and over again. There were several subreddits, like the H3H3 subreddit with Ethan Klein and all that. Now, he's becoming like an alt-right flirting shitbag already, but like, this YouTube channel was posted to his subreddit, and he deals with like social issues. Like, when he used to be more leftist and more like a regular like right-wing flirty shitty human, like, he used to deal with like issues like this and exposing stuff on YouTube. That thread got locked and deleted. They didn't think it was a big deal enough thing. So he got exposed when Philip DeFranco brought it to the head, exposed to the wider world. So the ink prank. So if you watch one video from this, watch the ink prank.
Or don't.
Now, most of the versions that are up right now are on other people's channels. You're not going to be giving Mike or DaddyOfive any more money, but only watch this if you're emotionally in a good place, because you're not going to end emotionally in a good place. So the ink prank went viral. Newspapers picked up the story. Their first response, and the newspapers are very like, hey, there's a super fucked up YouTube channel with like hundreds of videos of them abusing their kids. They put up the first response. It was called Blocking All the Haters.
Yeah, right. They called them all haters.
Yep. And they video uploaded. So they asked the kids, are you traumatized? No. Are you okay? Yes. Because if you ask kids those two questions and they answer in those ways, there's no chance abuse is going on. It's not like they would just say those things because you're standing right there with the camera, would you?
Are you going to talk about the video that those two kids made?
Which one?
Two of the kids made a video. Where is it? I found it. About how, like, people have ruined their life.
Oh yeah, and I'll talk about that. Yep.
Okay, KK.
Yeah. So they say so first off, Mike says the children are never abused. Then the wife reiterates, "It's just a prank, bro." And those are the exact words they use. Like the fucking I don't want to get all classist on these people.
No, I don't get all classes, but it is shitty no matter your class.
Yeah. Yeah, so they insist the children, then they ask the kids, are you traumatized? No. Are you
Of course you're going to be trained to say that.
Yeah. So are you all okay? Yes. They then reiterate, all critics are just jealous haters, so everybody that criticizes us is a hater. The mother then makes a startling reveal where she says, you know what? We already been investigated by Child Protective Services, and they didn't find nothing. And anybody who's dealt with that system knows how faulty Child Protective Services is.
Like, CPS is not amazing, but also this family is troubled.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, and then the kids start to talk. So they let the kids talk to the camera, and the kids say things like, well, it's not abuse because you don't, like, beat the hell out of us. Mm-hmm. It's not abuse because...
You've ruined our lives because you stopped these YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's not abuse because we have lots of cool stuff. We have a house to live in, food to eat. And, like, these are things that were said to me by people who abused me, is that you're not abused. You have possessions. You have a room to sleep
clothes,
in.
Like, you're good to go.
Roof over your head, food to eat. You're not fucking abused. Blah. Like, it rings very familiar. And of course, that first response wasn't enough. The internet went into a flame because not only were they denying everything, they were very incessant about denying it. Mm-hmm. They were stupidly arrogant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the second response was with Killer Keemstar on Drama Alert. Now, if you're a member of the YouTube community, there's another YouTuber named Keemstar. He does interviews, and his whole shtick is anything that has drama on it, he's going to interact with. It doesn't matter the morals or consequences behind it. He's going to soak up the drama. Yeah, he's also like a racist fuckhead. Anyways,
fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. But Drama Alert himself, like, puts the video in front, saying like, you know what? I don't think these guys are abusers. These guys remind me a lot of my family, and I don't hate any of my family. Like, my family pulled pranks on each other when I was kids too, and that's how he introduces these two. And like, this interview is some of the most like softball horse shit ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the parents claim that the pranks aren't fake, but they're exaggerated. And they say that Chester is acting to play up the reaction. And like, if you watch these videos, like, get this kid on Hollywood, because he is a child.
It's very convincing.
He is a child acting prodigy, if that's true, which it's not.
No, like, I literally sat there and tried not to cry.
Yeah.
When I watched these videos.
The mother then makes another admission. Like, there was a reason that Chester didn't get to go to Disneyland. So there was a video literally titled "Chester doesn't get to go to Disneyland," and all the other kids get to go to Disneyland, and they make a big deal about dropping Chester off at his step-parents' house so he doesn't get to go. The reason that he was punished by not going to Disneyland is because he played with his poop in a bathroom. Abuse victims, and people who suffer from PTSD are much more likely to do aberrant behavior, such as play with their poop and spread it on the walls and all stuff like that. So this is
that seems like a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah. So he did this. He participated in aberrant behavior that's very common amongst abuse victims, and he was punished for it by not being able to go to Disneyland. So
which all of his other siblings and step siblings were able to go.
Yep. Yeah. So that was admitted that. Of course that wasn't good enough. Oh, and the questions on this were such softball bullshit. Like, one of the questions that Keemstar asked was like, so Philip DeFranco made a compilation of all the negative moments in your family. Would you be open to somebody making a compilation of all the happy moments in your family?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah. That's the most important question. Yeah. Thank you for putting it on your, like, word spreadsheet to ask.
Oh, my God.
That's important to know. Fucking hell. And so, of course, that kept on going because things were moving despite them reacting to it. Like, authorities were being contacted, like police reports were being filed, like things were happening. So their third video response was uploaded, and it was called "Family Destroyed Over False Allegations." In this one, they changed the story again. Now, the videos aren't only partly fake, they're all fake and all scripted.
All 100% scripted.
Yep. So that time that he yells at his kid and just like calls him like the R word and like smacks him around, that was all scripted.
Yeah. And the kid is literally shown like blowing snot bubbles from his nose and like definitely in a sense of complete like traumatization and complete like despair.
Like, can you imagine that? And like the Erica video, like Erica then says, "I want to kill myself." Like that was scripted apparently. Hey Popper. Hey Popper. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Apparently my child is here. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Yeah. Hey,
all right. So my son is down here, but he's being very quiet.
Yeah, so you may not be able to hear. You may not be able to hear him on the mics, but
I'm going to be snuggling him because this is very upsetting to me.
Yeah, so we're talking about very bad parents today. So the third response, yeah. So they said all videos are fake and scripted. All reactions are exaggerated. And he makes a point of saying, like, these I put on the YouTube channel, I listed these videos as entertainment, so these videos are for entertainment purposes only.
They're traumatizing.
Yeah. They say they're going to keep on making videos with a different style, and they ended off with blaming Philip DeFranco for destroying the family. So
how dare he expose their shit?
Yeah, it's not them abusing their kids that caused it. It was Philip DeFranco for
finding out about their shit and then putting it out into a greater audience.
Yeah, and like him blaming Philip DeFranco like is ironic because like the Washington Post picked this up, like Vice picked this up, like
yes, so many people picked. Like if you just literally Google DaddyOfive, like so much shit comes up.
So I assume Philip DeFranco did like a video commentary thing that he like he normally does.
If I'll put it on the Twitter at some point, but there's
probably clip part of it into the episode even.
Oh yeah,
all of my dogs are downstairs.
Well, yeah, but
and my son.
But like it was a very like when I'm going through these like first response, second response, like Philip DeFranco was there like. Every day he would put out a new news video because Philip DeFranco thinks he does 5 news videos a week.
Right.
So every day something new would happen. They would put out a new response video or something would be filed or a police report or something else would come out about them. He would report about it every day. Eventually Rose, which is the mother of Chester and Erica, files a police report. It wasn't acted on for a while because whoever was in charge of acting upon those things saw the videos and said, "Oh, that's just corporal punishment."
Oh, that's just corporal punishment?
Yeah. So, of course, before they do the fourth response, they hire an agency. So, remember, these guys are a bunch of rich fucks.
Mm-hmm.
So, they hire an agency called the Falston Group Agency, which is a public image law firm. So, these are people that are hired to basically make shitty people look not so shitty. Now, the fourth...
That is very nice.
The fourth response is the one that most people have seen. Now, of course, the daddy's usually wearing like some kind of superhero T-shirt, and the mom's wearing normal clothes and all that,
like super endearing.
Yeah, in this one, the dad's in a sweater vest and a tie, and he's wearing glasses that he never wears, and the mom's in her Sunday.
It's just like what are they called?
Yeah,
what brothers were those? I can't remember.
I'm pretty well versed in YouTube drama, so.
No, it wasn't YouTube. It was those 2 brothers that killed their parents for their money.
Oh, Hernandez.
And Hernandez.
Yep.
And they dressed them all up like younger guys, even though they were like my age. They were like in their 30s, and they they were just young boys.
Yeah.
And they didn't know any better because. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
And you can tell that the Falston group doctored the fuck out of this video, and because they admit to things but they never admit to anything. So
right.
So they acknowledge those videos should have never gone up. Not I shouldn't have abused my fucking kids, but those videos should have never gone up.
Never.
And the mom says, as a mother, if I saw what we uploaded, I would understand why it looks like abuse, which is really a way of saying it looks like abuse, but it's not.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. They say that they're in family counseling now.
If I even thought of acting like slightly towards this tiny child in this room, like that's definitely child abuse.
Yeah. They say that they just did this to make their kids happy, and the way that they
abusing them.
Yeah.
I am furious.
The exact line is, "We just wanted to make our kids happy, and we did that the wrong way."
What the fuck?
Yeah. And And like, what's funny about this YouTube video is it's mostly the mom talking now, and whenever the dad would speak up, it would like fade to black gently and then fade back in, as if the bullshit that he come up with wasn't good enough for the apology video. So I don't think that even at that point they still weren't taking ownership of anything.
No!
So late April 2017, Rose, the biological mother, gains emergency custody, as she should.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
September 2017, both parents are charged with 2 counts of neglecting a minor.
Several minors.
Oh, yeah. Both plead guilty. They get 5 years probation. If they break the probation, they go to jail for 10 years.
Yep.
Now, they don't plead guilty and like, I did it. They do something called an Alfred plea.
Oh, right, the Alfred plea, which is super fucked up, which is like,
yeah.
I agree that I don't have enough evidence to prove that I didn't do it, so I'm gonna say that I'm guilty, but I also am saying that I maybe didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, another way of saying that is like, I'm not guilty, but the state's evidence is overwhelming, so I'm going to have to admit that I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of their probation is they're not allowed to contact Chester and Erica, so hopefully those kids are okay. And
oh my God, Chester and Erica.
And they're not allowed to post photos or videos of Chester and Erica. Now, Chester and Erica are out of that, but again, I mentioned at the start that the second youngest kid, Andy, is starting to become the center of abuse now because the pecking order.
They ran out of other kids.
Yeah, and of course they just went along the flow. So instead of DaddyOfive, they just turned it into FamilyOfive because they lost 2 kids. Now they're just a FamilyOfive instead of a DaddyOfive.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my son is here. He's like crawling under the table.
Oh, no problem.
There was nothing I can do about it. His dad is not here. He is at a hockey wind-up party.
What's good is these mics don't pick up.
Well, and he's being pretty good. Yeah. Like I gotta give him that.
Yeah. So
also, all 3 of my dogs are down here too.
Oh, yeah. So July 18th of 2018, so last year, YouTube finally deletes DaddyOfive and DaddyOfive gaming channels.
Yeah, they kept making videos like after those 2 kids were taken away.
Yeah, they just kept along with the flow. And YouTube finally, well, I don't want to give it to YouTube because they let this shit go on for so long.
So long!
And they finally deleted the videos. They say, at this point, maybe we shouldn't allow him to become like a rich and wealthy man off child abuse on our platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be a bad thing.
Of course,
who knows?
The deletion of those videos have not stopped. They're still active today. These 2 parents are not in jail. There's a YouTube channel called Team DaddyOfive Fans, which is very much speculated to have Mike behind it, and it's basically just compilations of videos that feature the nice moments.
Mm-hmm. They want to kind of change the narrative, right?
Yeah. The 3 boys, the Martin boys, they have their channel still going, and it occasionally features the dad. And he insists that I'm not behind anything on that channel. That channel is all my kids, but a few too many times he's behind the camera on that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, he has something called the Daddy3 Gaming Instagram channel where he does gaming videos and all that.
Mm-hmm. Which is popular. Like, my kid watches gaming videos like all the time.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, they're still very active on YouTube. Like, they're still there. They're still putting out videos. Like, to this day, the dad doesn't seem to feel even the tiniest bit of remorse for what he did.
Nope, he just wants to like get his audience back up and make more money.
Yeah, he's mourning a YouTube channel that he lost. He doesn't even think he did anything wrong.
We have one more. What's your poison?
We have Mini Sage Murray here.
Mini Sage Murray, my tiny 4.5-year-old son.
So we have the one unopened and unsampled. What is that? Strawberry flavored milk.
Yep.
Now that strawberry flavored canned milk.
What do you think? Hey,
talk about it.
Yum.
Hey,
okay.
Where are you going? You still have so much more of it.
A yum is at least a 7 out of 10, right?
And he literally ran away.
Okay. So his rating on the strawberry milk is yum then fleeing.
Do you want some more, buddy? Was it sweet or was it salty or what? Sweet. It was sweet
and salty.
It was not salty. You are lying. Did you like it?
Well, it does look like one thing. We discussed that.
Would you want to drink this whole entire bottle?
He seems to be overjoyed that he gets his own can.
Yes, he's very excited about that.
This could be like its own podcast, I think. It's just
4-year-old tastes
your
weird
kid
drinks.
tastes weird drinks, and you just guide
maybe
him through
I'll just record it.
Yeah.
And now he's dancing.
Yeah. I don't really know how to end off this episode because I never know how to end off my episodes because I would always love there to be some takeaway message or something, but like
these people are garbage and fuck them, and also I have a really sweet boy.
Yeah. And like
it's an interesting juxtaposition, you know, the relationship you and
my kid
has,
he's snuck down here. He's been here for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if any of you see any signs of abuse out there, or God forbid you run into another social media account that's like playing up abuse for views,
don't ever do that. Like
bring it to somebody's attention. Like
no, not you. You're being alright, buddy.
I don't know. The fact that this was played for love and played for money and played for views on a platform in front of millions of people just sickens me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that note, I've been Ood Gallifrey.
Sage Murray.
And filling in for Leon Filger, we got Richard Bigley.
Okay. Well,
what's your fake name?
Yeah. By the way, Leon has contacted us. His
money.
Money?
Yeah.
Okay. We got and money on the mic.
He's apparently like a really bad capitalist. I have failed.
Yeah. Hey.
Get out of here.
Birthing tiny commies with Occultae, Veritatis, and Ood Gallifrey.
Sage Murray.
And Leon Filger? No, Richard Bigley.
Okay.
And also all three of my dogs and my son.
Yeah, this is a family event. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Can you say I love you?
I love you.
I love you too.
There we go. Yeah. Tough episode to listen to, folks. So good on you for putting up with it. Especially if you're a parent or, you know, a victim of child abuse like I was. And, you know, it hits hard. It hits hard. So, to play us out and hopefully to help heal us just a little bit, here is Wasted on Waste Culture by the band Rimraz, spelled Rimraz. See you in the after show.
I go and throw my life away. I'm so broke, can't catch a break. I'm underway to overload. I'm waiting for a change, waiting for closure. I'm getting wasted on waste culture.
Hello, thank you to whoever provided the musical. We never know who it is, but I'm sure they're wonderful.
They're always wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, that last one was really good.
Oh yeah, especially good, this last one.
I forget what they were called. They were some sort of like a banjo-y situation about death.
Oh yeah, and they had like words and letters in their name.
Okay, well shut up. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said on the Spanish flu episode, I wanted to wait until Sage and Leon were in the room before I announced like the new patrons, because
That's what she said.
I always want them to help me introduce the new patrons, because you're not paying Ood's bills, you're paying all of our bills, and you're helping fund all of us and supporting independent media for our project.
And also, P.S. I'm in charge of the money, and I'm responsible as fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm not good with money. I'm good. If you want me to research like bullshit things from World War II where I have to study runes for 8 hours, fuck yeah. Balance a budget?
That's for me.
Yeah. So, welcome to our new patrons. Thank you for contributing to independent media.
Yes.
Ashley Simpson.
Ashley Simpson.
Yeah. And next up, Moxie, Firewalker, Conduit of Determination itself.
Oh, fuck. Yay. That's a cool name. Also, I love you.
Yeah. By the way, when you enter into Patreon, you're allowed to enter in any name you want.
Yeah.
So this is a sneak way to get us to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Next up is Rosie, another new patron.
Love you, Rosie.
Another one is Rizzy Watson. Thank you for contributing.
Rizzy Watson.
Woo. And another one is Mariah Ollisted.
Cool. Thank you. We love you.
And by the way, if you get any of your names wrong, free reign to write in and we'll do it again.
We will. We'll do it again.
Here's the next block, the unbolded ones.
All right. So next we have Angela. Thanks, Angela. Yeah. I'm watching The Office right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, Angela.
Which one's Angela?
The short, blonde one. That marries Dwight at the end. Spoiler alert from a 10-year-old show.
She licks her cats.
Oh, yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
Next is Nicoletta Wild. Okay, I think I have you on Instagram.
I think so. I think that name sounds familiar. I think I've interacted with you on social media.
Yes, I love you. Yeah. Next is Ryan Perham.
Thank you very much.
Love you, Ryan Perham.
Thank you for contributing to independent media. You're a rock star.
Yes. And next is Caitlin Hone. I love you, Caitlin Hone.
Thank you, Caitlin Hone. Thank you for paying our bills and keeping this podcast chugging free.
We definitely appreciate it and need it.
Yeah.
And the final block, Casey Shaver.
Woo, Casey.
Thank you.
Janine.
Love you, Janine.
Thank you for contributing, Janine.
Christopher Spalding.
Christopher Spalding.
Thank you, Christopher Spalding.
Jana Amberg.
Jana Amberg. And I went to college with Jana, so hello. Jana knows my real name. So sneak peek, Jana.
What, you mean Ood Gallifrey isn't your real name?
And finally, Sarah Harvard Krieger.
Oh, Sarah Harvard Krieger.
Yeah.
I love you.
And as always, if you want to sign up for our Patreon, it starts at as little as $5 a month. And you get access to our premium feed. You get episodes a week early. You get to vote on future episodes. And you get access.
For 666 is episodes a week early.
Oh, yeah. You have to contribute 666.
Yeah. And we're edgy and douchebags.
Yeah, we released the podcast on Friday the 13th, 2017, and we're going to be edgelords till the end.
Yep.
And that's also why the Space Probes episode was episode 69. I could not resist.
I giggled the entire time.
Yeah.
And also, a good episode.
And also
I made everyone very uncomfortable.
And also we had a kick-ass Discord, which we live watched season 8, episode 3 of Game of Thrones. Holy fuck. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm very excited to watch American Gods after you are done Game of Thrones. Because I'm not rich and don't have HBO.
A dream of spring. Just a dream.
Well, I have all the DVDs, but I don't have like a new season on DVD yet.
Yeah, so if you want to join us for the rewatch of American Gods,
Gods, come watch it with me because I've never seen it.
By the time this episode comes out, we're probably just going to be starting the rewatch because we're starting that after Game of Thrones. So if you want to do that, join the Patreon, join our Discord, and you're going to be in our live chat. You're going to be able to talk with the host, talk with the other patrons, and we talk about mental health issues, all kinds of bullshit. So.
I have a mighty need to talk to people about TV because no one in my family watches TV.
My husband
watches fucking hockey.
Yeah. Come be lonely with us.
Yes, come be lonely with us. And my son also, he definitely does appreciate interdimensional travel, in the OA, but he can't quite engage me on the level that I need to be engaged as he is 4 years old.
Oh, and when the new Doctor Who season starts, I'm definitely going to be doing a rewatch on that because I have to talk shit about that. Not bad shit, but just general shit.
Never gotten into Doctor Who.
Alrighty.
Except for the old ones.
Alrighty, so with the after show, I'm Ood Gallifrey.
Sage Murray.
Leon Pilger.
Until next time.
Love you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.